Okay, let's be real for a second. Do your finances ever feel, well, a little chaotic? You are definitely not alone. So let's build a practical game plan to really take control of your money in 2026 and get you from that feeling of financial stress to a place of financial strength.
So what's the deal with this number, 2.7%? This is the core of the challenge we're facing. It's the forecasted inflation for 2026. Now, it might not sound like a huge number, but what it really means is that your hard-earned money will buy you less tomorrow than it does today. This kind of persistent inflation makes having a solid financial plan more critical than ever. It's the economic weather we're all going to be navigating.
So here's our roadmap for this financial health check. We're going to start with the big picture, the 2026 financial forecast. Then we'll shift into defense mode, tackling debt and plugging those pesky financial leaks. After that, we go on offense by talking about investing wisely. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you can craft your own personal path forward.
First up, let's get a handle on the economic environment. You can think of this as checking the weather before you head out on a long hike. Knowing the conditions is absolutely key to preparing for the journey ahead.
Okay, so what's really interesting here is how these numbers play together. We're looking at some modest GDP growth, around 2.2%, but it's paired with that stubborn 2.7% inflation and a rising unemployment rate of 4.5%. Some economists are calling this a stagflation-light environment. Here's the key takeaway. Your money is in a slow leak, not a sinking ship. So your job isn't to abandon ship, it's to patch the leaks and row just a little bit harder.
So in this environment, our first defensive move has got to be getting a handle on debt. With interest rates where they are, high interest debt is just a massive drain on your resources. Think of it as the very first leak you need to plug in your financial boat.
Man, this quote, it just hits hard, doesn't it? Debt isn't just a number on a piece of paper. It carries this heavy psychological weight with it. Paying it down is about so much more than just saving money on interest. It's really about reclaiming your financial freedom.
So, how do we do it? Well, one super popular strategy is the debt snowball. This method is all about psychology. You list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, and you attack that smallest one first, completely ignoring the interest rate. Once it's gone, poof, you roll that payment into the next smallest one. Those quick wins create this powerful momentum that keeps you going.
And then there's the second strategy, the debt avalanche. This one is all about the pure math. You list your debts by interest rate, from highest to lowest, and you throw all your extra cash at the one with the highest rate. This method is guaranteed to save you the most money in interest over time, which makes it the most financially efficient path.
So, which one is right for you? It really comes down to what gets you fired up. Do you need that psychological boost of a quick win to stay in the game? Then the snowball is probably your best bet. But if you're driven by the pure numbers and saving every possible penny, then the avalanche is the way to go. You just have to be honest with yourself. The best plan is always the one you'll actually stick with.
All right, our second defensive move is to tackle a much sneakier financial drain, subscription fatigue. You know what I'm talking about. These are those small, recurring charges that can add up to a shockingly large amount every single month.
I want you to take a second and really think about this. Not a guess. What's the real number? Can you actually name every single subscription you pay for off the top of your head? It's probably a lot harder than it sounds.
And here's why that's so tough. Studies show that a staggering 74% of people underestimate their subscription spending by 2.5 times. That's huge. These little leaks can turn into a flood without you even noticing. It's basically the financial equivalent of death by 1,000 cuts.
So let's do a quick audit right now. Just think about everything you might be subscribed to. Streaming services, music apps, shopping memberships, fitness apps, newsletters you forgot you signed up for, even gaming passes. My advice? Go through your bank statements line by line and find every single one. You might be shocked at what you uncover. Okay, we've strengthened our defense by tackling debt and plugging those subscription leaks. Now, it's time to shift to offense. In a world with 2.7% inflation, just saving your money in a regular account means you're actually losing purchasing power over time. We need to make our money work for us, even in uncertain times. For the kind of stagflation-light environment we're expecting, conservative strategies are probably key. So, here are a few options. High-interest savings accounts are super flexible and safe, but the returns might not actually beat inflation. Government bonds are about as safe as it gets, but their yields are often pretty low. And then you've got ETFs, or exchange-traded funds. Think of them like buying a tiny piece of many different companies all at once.
They offer great diversification at a low cost, but they are still subject to the market's mood swings. The crucial thing here is to understand the trade-off between risk, return, and how easily you can get to your money.
So we've covered the economic climate, defensive strategies, and some offensive moves. Now let's bring it all home and build a game plan that's tailored specifically to you. Because honestly, the best financial advice in the world is completely useless if it doesn't fit your life.
So how do you choose your path? Well, it really just boils down to asking yourself these 3 questions. First, what's your risk tolerance? How would you feel if your investments dropped 10% overnight? Second, what's your timeline? Are you saving for a house in 2 years or for retirement in 30? And third, and this is a big one, you have to be brutally honest about what actually motivates you. Personal finance is, after all, personal.
So, the game plan is pretty simple when you boil it down. Understand the economy, play strong defense by tackling debt and cutting subscriptions, and then play smart offense by investing for stability.
Ultimately, your financial future is in your hands. We've laid out the map, we've laid out the strategies. The financial story of your 2026 is still unwritten. So the only question left is, which path will you choose?